Hey, welcome. All around us, there are these incredible, invisible forces at work, powering our cities, running our industries, even cooking our food. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the amazing technology that's designed to harness all that power. So let's just dive right in and explore the world of pressure equipment. Okay, I know that sounds like the setup to a pretty weird joke, right? But the answer is actually a fundamental principle of modern engineering. See, all three of these places rely on technology that safely contains and controls just immense pressure to get a job done. And the answer is pressure equipment. So, what are we really talking about here? Well, this definition is the key. Ambient pressure is just a fancy way of saying the normal pressure of the air all around us. Pressure equipment is basically anything built to hold a gas or a liquid at a pressure that's much, much higher, or hey, even much lower, like a vacuum, than that. It's the science of containment, and believe me, it is absolutely everywhere. Let's kick things off with a real workhorse of the industrial world, the boiler. These are the unsung heroes behind so much of the power and heat we just take for granted every single day. It's such a simple but perfect analogy. Just like the kettle on your stove boils water for a cup of tea, a boiler heats water on a massive scale to create high-pressure steam. But instead of just whistling, that steam becomes this incredibly powerful source of energy that can generate electricity, run factories, and even save lives. And you find them everywhere, really. That steam is what spins turbines to generate the electricity that's powering your home right now. In hospitals, it's absolutely critical for sterilizing medical instruments. It drives heavy machinery in factories and keeps huge buildings warm all winter. Boilers are, without a doubt, a foundational technology of our world. All right, let's switch gears to our next category. We're moving from creating energy with steam to storing it with something even more basic, just plain old air. Now, this is a really cool way to think about it, isn't it? It completely reframes how we think about energy storage. When you force a huge amount of air into a strong, sealed container, you're pretty much loading up a giant spring. You're storing all this potential energy that can be released in a controlled burst to do work in an instant. And that stored energy is unbelievably versatile. It's the force behind the pneumatic wrench that mechanics use to change your tires. It's that classic hiss you hear when a big truck or a train hits its brakes. It's what provides breathable air for divers deep underwater, and it's a critical part of life support systems in hospitals. It's pure energy, ready to go on demand. And finally, let's talk about the type of pressure equipment that many of us have actually used ourselves, maybe without even thinking twice about the incredible science that's locked inside. This is where the real magic of pressure comes in. LPG, that's liquefied petroleum gas, is naturally a gas at room temperature. But by putting it under just a bit of pressure inside a tank, it actually changes into a liquid. Now, why does that matter? Because as a liquid, it takes up about 600 times less space. That lets you store a massive amount of fuel in a really small, portable container. And that convenience factor is exactly why we see it everywhere. It's the fuel in the tank hooked up to your BBQ grill. It's what heats homes that aren't connected to a natural gas line. It powers entire fleets of clean-burning forklifts and city buses. And it's the go-to portable fuel for anyone who loves camping or traveling in an RV. So we've looked at three really different types of equipment, right? One makes energy from steam, one stores energy in air, and one stores fuel as a liquid. They seem pretty different on the surface, but they are all united by one absolutely critical challenge. This little table here just sums it all up perfectly. A boiler creates energy, an air tank stores energy, an LPG tank stores fuel. But look at what they all hold inside, a fluid that is under immense pressure. And managing that pressure safely, well, that's where the real genius lies. So here's the bottom line. Whether we're talking about steam, or air, or liquefied gas, these vessels are containing forces that could be incredibly destructive if they were released the wrong way. The design, the materials, the welding, the inspections, it's all part of this super rigorous engineering discipline that is dedicated to one thing above all else: safety. They're basically monuments to our ability to tame powerful natural forces for our own good. So the next time you hear the hiss of a bus's brakes or you fire up the grill in the backyard, just take a second to appreciate the incredible, invisible engineering that's at play. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If this much power is hidden in plain sight, what other forces are out there, quietly making our modern world possible? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.